I'm leaving it at that. Those that know exactly know what I'm talking about. So I thought about this. This is just hypothetical, and this is just something I'm thinking about since I'm supposed to be so far fetched and so far, far, far away from reality, even though today is Wednesday, okay? Wednesday, the 25th of February. This individual experienced a medical event that required immediate attention, okay? And he had crews. He had incredible crewmates that knew exactly what to do for the man. I send out a prayer every single rising, every single afternoon, and every single evening because you never know what a person is going through physically, mentally, spiritually. Okay. And when I say that, it actually is a spiritual journey to even do something otherworldly. It makes a lot of people upset when they cannot connect with the Almighty because you cannot escheat, ESCHEAT, another person's life, livelihood, and or forethoughts or forward movements, okay, to make them your own. I'm going to leave that right where it's at. But this is thinking spiritually, 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 mentally, physically, and emotionally. Imagine being on this spaceship, right? This astronaut in this particular territory. The territory is cold. I'm going to give you the external conditions. Outside, it's cold in said territory, right? As they're cold, the things that happen on the inside would warm you up because you learn about love, you learn about the Almighty, you learn how people move, you learn how people operate on the interior portion of it, okay? Well, on the exterior, outside, it is dead to right cold. I mean, frozen, frozen cold. Okay. You don't know which direction to go. You don't know how to navigate outside of that warm comfort zone. That's pretty much what happens on a lot of people's everyday journey spiritually. You're not in total darkness, but you come across patches of light. When you come across these patches of light, now you understand what the Almighty says when He says, walk by faith and not by sight. Okay. Spiritually, 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 physically, emotionally, mentally. Okay. So I thought about this young man having a medical event that required immediate attention from his incredible crewmates. So he gave props to his crewmate that let him understand exactly what was going on in his certain scenario and or situation. And I pray that he remains well. I do. Because he was allowed to have his status quickly stabilized. There's a lot going on, you guys. Think about going to the moon or think about doing an adventure. And most people aren't aware of what the adventure is, but you know that once you get inside, everything is safe, fully covered and protected. But on the exterior, it's cold. We're in winter still, by the way. NASA determined the crew should return to Earth to take advantage of Advantage medical imaging, not available on the space station. The ISS is stocked with medical equipment, though it does not have all the tools a typical emergency room would have. What place would you venture to that would need to have these particular devices and or equipment in order for you to take your journey? And we're staying spiritual, you guys, but yet physical and yet mental. Okay. During the crew's journey home, the affected astronaut was in stable condition. What was he affected with? Not picking on the young man. What was he infected with? And were everyone involved bothered? Were they infected? Could they become infected? Or was it just contagious in a positive way, you guys? Previous academic studies have explored conditions such as space adaptation syndrome, an ailment characterized by vomiting and vertigo that is experienced by many astronauts during their first hours in microgravity. 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 Good Lord, microgravity, and reveals some in space medical and revealed in space and reveals some in space medical issues, including optic nerve swelling and blood clots, typically without naming the people who were affected. Okay, I'm gonna leave that right where that's at. But I want to go, kind of like on my little tangents of how I see this on a spiritual note. When you have natural beings that decide they want to take a path that is not fit for them, yet and still they want to force their feet inside of a certain situation or a scenario, you're going to come up with some of these things. That's like me trying to take a walk on the moon for the first time and I have no proper head covering. I take it off before I got the okay to take it off. Instantly, I'm not adapt to that area and or situation, so therefore I'm going to experience something. Again, I pray that this young man and the crew is well. I'm not picking on them. It's just I found this interesting when I thought about my spiritual journey that I was taking online. So this is why I was prompted to talk about this in this manner, okay? Because to me, I think it's very important that people understand that spiritual journey is not something that you should take lightly. When you get on your spiritual journey and you truly are on the correct path, you stay there, okay? Stay there because I'm telling you, when you find a beautiful teacher who is non biased, who's willing to teach you what it is that they know, compensate them directly. Don't send it via proxy because they'll never get it. Okay. Now, this is the part I do appreciate about this particular article. He says he's doing very well and continuing standard post flight reconditioning at NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston. Space flight is an incredible privilege, and sometimes it reminds us just how human we are. Fink said in a written statement Wednesday, "Thank you all for your support. I'm so grateful." Excuse me. I'm so grateful this young man got the opportunity to do something that he always wanted to do and that he was actually able to recover. I appreciate that. That lets me know that our medical technology is moving forward. You guys, I tell you, in a certain particular time frame, all human beings that are actually truly humans are going to be okay. I'm gonna leave it at that, and that's a message from the big man himself. What I want to point out is this: when people take who you are, the very essence of you, literally taking your skeleton and or your very essence out of you, emptying themselves and putting your skeleton inside of their vessel, it takes a minute to adjust. Okay. For some people, they never adjust because they don't understand. So they'll say that the Almighty is not very real because to them, the Almighty isn't very real because now they have literally taken on something that does not belong to them initially and or originally. Okay. So a lot of people get lost because they think they can handle this. When the Almighty says, "Who can I send?" and you raise your hand and you say, "Send me," make sure that you are aware that you can deal with some of the setbacks like this gentleman have. Because if that is not your natural path, be careful. That's why I said I offer a prayer to everyone. Okay. Now, what I found out was NASA's Artemis program is sending humans into deep space for the first time in more than 5 decades. Where are you guys going? I'm curious. Are you going on a spiritual journey, a physical journey? What did you see? What did you find? I'm curious, you guys. I love science. I love spiritual things. I love the spiritual laws as well as the physical laws. But what did you find? And are you willing to open up and share with us? Just curious. So I thought about how come the Almighty would never allow me to release the moon video. He said, "I will. I'm going to allow you to release the moon video because a lot of people still want to disconnect you from the Almighty Himself. So I'm going to utilize you, young lady, to open up and share with the world what it is that He knows about the moon." You guys, I cannot wait to do that video. I have been so excited. So now let me tell you how this space exploration, this venture, and the MBs that they are dealing with that a lot of people aren't even aware has been literally, it's missing something. It's missing one important ingredient that would keep a lot of people from going through certain things. But when they overlook you because they see your exterior and they look at you like you don't know what you're talking about. You have to tend to look at them and say, okay, the Almighty is very real to me, you guys. The things that I do know, I'm not allowed to speak about everything. However, it does make sense why I keep having these courthouse dreams, why I'm always catapulted to the courthouse dreams, because there's a lot going on that I do know. And my dreams are so crystal clear, you guys. I hear people's languages. Check out the territories, you guys. Check this out. Pay attention. NASA astronaut Zena Cardman Kamaya Yui of the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency and cosmonaut Oleg Platonov of the Russian Space Agency. You mean to tell me Russia, Japan, and America? Hmm. You mean to tell me they're working together, y'all? On something? What we miss? What we missed, y'all? You guys enjoy your Wednesday, the 25th of February, 2025. Have a grand evening, a grand rising, a grand afternoon. Know that the Almighty is truly real. He loves you the absolute most. I love you too.